played it for about 5 hours straight, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I felt a great deal of empathy for these undead guys. Every time I saw them, a part of me just sank. Even when they attacked me, I felt bad. This cult Volcano Manor thing was purposefully vague. Like, they didn't want to tell me what we were actually doing. And there was a man there that I had met at the Round Table Hold who had just lost his sister, I believe, and he was in a vulnerable place. That, right there, is proof that maybe the system doesn't work. I'm not just talking about Elden Ring because it's a cool video game and that, you know, the lore is really interesting. It's genuinely had an impact on me. The entire story of the Lands Between, the entire story of the Tarnished that I'm playing as, coming across fear, coming across the undead, it all means something. I looked at him and I remember thinking, this is what happens when you let your extremist views go too far. But Dialos Hoslo, I was really curious where he was. Turns out, he's in Jarberg. He says that he feels like he's on the straight and narrow. I'll probably do Fear's ending. I will probably use the Mending Rune, and I will ensure that death is treated with respect, with grace, that it's not feared, and that the people who I feel for, the Wandering Nobles, the undead, like I said in my video, I hope they're not hunted down. But I think it's just a perfect example of someone's ambition going too far, and you need to know when to stop and when to be careful. Playing Elden Ring, just determined to get from one end to the other, it was like I was in overdrive. And I think that's part of the reason for the burnout. We all know defeat, it shapes us, it creates us, it figures out who we are. And to say otherwise is completely ridiculous, but you've got to fake it till you make it sometimes. And I think that's what Melania was doing. I don't believe that she had never known defeat. They see death as something to be feared. So to use death as a blade is like the ultimate weapon. But for me, death isn't the thing to be feared, it's what comes afterwards. It's the grief that comes after death.
Hello. You see, when I started this series, I didn't have any plans. I didn't write anything down, I didn't write a monologue, I didn't have any real notes worth talking about. I just set up the camera and I just spoke about how I couldn't stop thinking about Elden Ring. I didn't plan for it to become a series, I just kind of spoke to a camera because I was at a loss and my mental health was quite bad, and I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to put something out there and talk about how this game has really changed me. And somehow that first video just shot up in views. I don't know what happened, I didn't market it, I didn't do anything, it just, the algorithm just got a hold of it, and it changed the trajectory of where I thought my life was going, because this channel is growing and it is kind of a sign that this could be a career for me, that this could be something, you know, that I could pursue in the future. And at the same time, my experience in playing Elden Ring, it became the first thing that I've ever played that I've documented and shared with other people. It was no longer a game for me to enjoy just by myself. And it was, obviously it is something that I've enjoyed by myself, but it's also something that I've shared with other people. So now I feel like I need to just talk. I've written a lot of notes down, I've put on my dressing gown, something that I feel very comfortable wearing, and I'm just gonna talk about my experience, about what happened, and talk about how much this game has meant to me as I've been playing it. So after I burnt the Erd Tree, I was going to go and do Shadow of the Erd Tree. I had loaded it up, I'd got to the first boss of the game, I think I live streamed it. I wasn't feeling good about it, I realised I wasn't paying attention to everything that I was doing. My burnout was still present, even though I still wanted to do it, my burnout was still there. And then it hit me that I think I just need to not do the DLC for a while. I think what I really need to do, and I think what I wanted to do, was finish the base game. And as soon as I realised that, I felt some genuine excitement towards the game again. I felt this spark that I haven't felt in the game for a while. The first thing that I faced in the end game was Gideon. Gideon the all-knowing. Gideon, the guy whose knowledge was never going to be enough. This guy who had this very cool voice that always kind of emanated just a certain presence. And turns out he's a big old bootlicker. I approached him. I was wearing my Dark Death Malekith armor. I had my Hoslo Horns helmet on, which I've said in previous videos. That helmet represents a lot for me. It represented my journey with Dialos. It represented my journey with the Volcano Manor. It represented mistakes, and it represented the ability to change and grow just like Dialos did. I did look like some sort of devil just wearing that black armor and that helmet, and you know, I think that armor and that entire fit that I was wearing, I think that kind of symbolized my burnout. I was wearing Malekith's armor, which is, for all intents and purposes, represents death. I'd put myself in this outfit because I thought it looked cool, and also I've been a bit depressed. I think subconsciously it might have been manifesting itself in the items that I was choosing for clothes. I was feeling very bitter about the demigods and about my experiences with it. So when I then came across Gideon and I had to fight him, I was just like, okay, this is where we're at. We're going to do it. You know, and I quite liked Gideon. I kind of appreciated him for just giving me all the info that I needed. I guess he is the all-knowing, and you know, that's his whole shtick. Fighting him was oddly satisfying. It didn't take me too many goes to do. I wiped the floor with him. But beating him felt like it was the beginning of the end. It really felt like the first chapter in what I was about to do. But something was eating at me. Something about the outfit that I was wearing, the vibe of what I was feeling, and just wearing this emo-y, devil-like armor. Something felt off. And I don't know what came over me. I don't know what was really in my head, but I just thought, before I carry on, because I knew that Godfrey was next, before I carry on, I need to go and visit Jarberg again, because I realised I hadn't been there for a while, and Dialos was kind of an anchor for me, and I really loved the jars, I appreciate them, so I went back. So when I arrived there, to my surprise, everyone was kind of dead. There were broken pieces of jars everywhere. I was there in my black armor and my horn helmet, and I go over there and I see, I think it's pronounced Ben, the jar, who calls you Cuz all the time.
Oh, Cuz, I'm glad you came, but we're fine now. Dialos fought the poacher, though quite a lot of us got broken. I won't cry though. I'm a warrior jar. A warrior. The tale of House Hoslo is told in blood. That's the kind of warrior I want to be one day, Cuz. Even if I'm scared, I'll still fight to protect everyone.
And opposite him was Dialos, and Dialos was on the floor, dying. Dialos, their potentate, he defended them as a true warrior, as a true champion. So I approached Dialos, and I'll let the scene play out, you can see what he said, and it really touched me.
You... Are the jars... Are they alright? Did I defend them? Then all is well. This fool proved his worth in the end.
Even though most people had died, he did a good job, and he saved at least one life. And that's what's important. Life is sacred. And one person, one jar, he saved, and it was the one jar that we know. Even though he was dying, he was content in what he had done. He felt like he had achieved what he was meant to achieve. And I just want to talk about Dialos one last time. Dialos, to me, represents, in this game, a true character arc. I think he has the best character arc in the game. I don't care what anybody else has to say about that. I think he represents something in the game for me that I haven't seen any other character or any other story represent. And I think he just represents change and doing the right thing, finding community. He went from a character who I didn't like at first. I couldn't stand him. I found him whiny and annoying and too try-hard. And then you find him at Volcano Manor. He has kind of been manipulated by them until eventually I killed his brother, not realizing what I was doing, and he had left. And then when I found him, he was looking after the jars, and he said that he was finally content, that he was doing something right. And in the end, he died defending people that he cared about. This whole thing about the tale of House Hoslo is written in blood and revenge and all of that, that had gone out of the window. He was defending a town, and yet in a way it did end in blood, his tale. It did end in him defending them, but he wasn't doing it out of pure, I guess, immaturity. He wasn't doing it out of spite or out of ignorance for what he was doing. He wasn't acting like the annoying child that he seemed like he was at first. He was doing something that genuinely felt right. He was defending a town that he wanted to look after, that he had found a community in. And to me, that's what House Hoslow represented. That's why I wore his brother's helmet, as a way to remember him, as a way to say sorry for what I did whilst working in Volcano Manor. It made me go, oh fuck, okay. This is what I'm doing it for. Trying to be a better person. And I reloaded it. I went back. His body was no longer there. One of the jars, Ben, was taking his body parts and storing it inside himself, taking his blood. He wanted to be a warrior just like him. Okay, now I know that's a bit weird, but hear me out. They're jars. An indigenous species, in a way. I'm sure there is some dark backstory to them that I'm not fully aware of, but they are just a bunch of jars, an entirely different kind of species that has their own rituals. And they take people's dead bodies and they store it in them. So they're not exactly hurting anyone. And also, they're jars. And it's a fictional fantasy world. I mean, I guess it's their culture. And also, I do think that Dialos, having spent so much time in Jarburg now, having gotten to know the jars, looking after them, I think he would have known that part of the tradition of what the jars do is they take their bodies and store it inside of them so they can have their power. So I reloaded the area again, and there was nothing there anymore. There was only a certain item left behind by Dialos, and it was his helmet. And immediately, really without any second thought, I put on his helmet. I wanted to remember him. He is a character that meant a lot to me. He's a character who I kind of saw myself in a lot. A character I didn't like at first. I didn't like Dialos at first. I thought he was quite unlikable. And then as it went on, I got to know him more. And I just saw this guy who was struggling. And I guess in a way I did see myself in that a bit. You know, don't really like myself too much all the time. Or I used to, or I'm always beating my past self up. And seeing him grow, I just thought, I have to wear your helmet. And it was at that point that I thought, the black Malekith armor, the armor that represents death, the armor that has this kind of Spider-Man 3 energy to it, this emo energy, it wasn't going to work for this now. So I went through the armor and I just tried on some different things, and I saw the twinned armor from D, and I put it on and it really worked. It was an armor that I didn't think I really liked at first. I didn't like it at first, but seeing that armor with the Hoslow helmet, and then I put on Blight's boots, and I can't remember what things I wore on my arm. Maybe it was the scaled armor, but I put on that armor, and I'll get onto why the D armor is significant for me in a minute, and it just felt right. This looks fucking sick. I've done myself. I went back to after I had killed Gideon. I went back to that area, and I prepared myself for Godfrey. You know how in Spider-Man Far From Home, when he goes through a bunch of different outfits and then finally he creates his own outfit at the end, and he settled on that black and blue Spider-Man outfit, and it really suits him, and it's like a triumphant moment. It represents what he is. It represents who he has become. That's what I felt like in this armor, fighting Godfrey, this big bad. He wasn't even a big bad, really. He was this guy who had become Elden Lord and seemed to respect me for wanting to at least try. And I killed him in my first try. You know, he had that lion on his shoulder and his back, which, you know, at this point, when you've seen so much abstraction and so much ambiguity in the game, at this point, I was just kind of like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's just fucking do this. At this point, I wasn't deeping too much. I do start to get quite deep into things in my head, but at this point, this was like, I'm in my new outfit, I've just finished my Dialos arc, I've just killed Gideon, I'm gonna kill you, let's do it. And I fought him, and I won, first try, easy, done. It felt like a true victory, and it felt like I had earned it, and that I deserved it, especially, you know, my new armor and stuff. And, you know, big respect to Godfrey. You know, I know that all demigods are bastards, but thanks for the fight. Thanks for kind of respecting me and, you know, being the first barrier to what I had to do. And it was a very It just felt good to do it. Felt like I was going through the correct motions. And yeah, I did it. And so now there was just me, the burning Erd tree, and inside the Erd tree, something was waiting for me. Why was I wearing this twinned armour as well as the Hoslow helmet? I knew why I was wearing the Hoslow helmet, but why was I wearing the twinned armour? It wasn't just because it looked cool and it suited it. There was something about the person on the side coming out of it. There was something about the way it looked. I didn't particularly like D, the hunter. I didn't like him so much. I didn't even have much of a relationship with him. He was very hellbent on killing the undead. That's not what I'm about. I feel for the undead. I care about the undead. So I wasn't wearing it out of respect for him. And I didn't like the way his twin brother was talking about Thea after she died, you know? So I wasn't wearing it out of respect for them. I was wearing it because of what the armour represented to me. Earlier this year, I lost a friendship. And it was my fault. Earlier this year, I had lost a friendship. It was a friendship with someone who I considered a brother. Genuinely, like, they were my best friend, and they were someone who meant the world to me. You know, I still think about them a lot, and I regret how it ended. And I take full blame for it. You know, I'm not going to get into the personal details here. It's nothing like, you know, oh my god, you shouldn't have done that, that's awful. It was more like, I am the catalyst for why this went wrong, and I take full responsibility for it. And you know, at the end of it, they said some things that upset me, but it is what it is. It happens. Friendships die out. We were also just going down different directions in our life. But in the end, no matter what they think of me, and no matter what they feel towards me, those memories of what we did together, those memories of, you know, the music that we created, the videos that we created, the stuff that we did, those memories are still within me, and I will cherish those memories forever. I don't think they're going to watch this, but I still love you if you're watching this. I will always carry that with me. And so I think it started to click what all of this meant, what the entire game meant, why I was wearing this twinned armor. I was carrying those memories of someone I considered a brother within me, the same way D carried his twinned armor and his twin with him. This series really started off whilst I was in a bad place and I was at my loneliest. And so those memories are with me. And I guess I'm wearing that armor because it's a remembrance of what happened. My remembrance of things, the remembrance of the things that you have in your life, of people, of animals that have died, of people that you've lost, you will carry that forever, and you should choose to remember those things. You should choose to remember it in the way you see fit. And, you know, it's just a video game, but in a way it was like, this was representative of an arc that I was going through. So I wore the Hoslow helmet, I wore the twinned armor, and I went into the Erd tree. So when you go into the Erd tree, you're greeted by Marika, basically hanging from the big rune, what I assume is the Elden Ring. And then she falls. She stands up and you realise it's also Radigan. And I had this spoilt for me early on, which I'm really annoyed about, but Radigan and Marika, they're the same person. Don't get me started on how that fucking works. I have no clue, but they're the same person. And so the fight began between me and Radigan, trying to put a stop to whatever it is that was going on. And at first, you know, I brought the Mimic Tier out, I cleared it, and then I got to the Elden Beast, which was ridiculously hard. So I died, and I kept doing it for ages. The stream lasted about 5 hours, and I ended up doing it immediately off stream, as is always the case with me. The fight with Radigan, I was realizing I had to learn his moveset properly. Because my problem is with the game is I'm always dodging way too much. I'm just constantly dodging and rolling. So I realized I had to time my dodges and rolls perfectly, and I had to not get greedy with the attacks that I was doing. People were telling me not to get greedy in the chat, and I was like, come on man, I'm not greedy, but I was being greedy. Now my experience with the Elden Beast is interesting because each time I had a different thought process. It came up from the ground and I just thought, okay, this represents all of my remembrance of everything that I've experienced in life and in this game. I was thinking about the friend that I had lost. I was thinking about the animals, you know, my pets that I've lost within a month. I was thinking about my own mental health, my own struggle, my own adversity that I've had to come through. I was thinking about everything and seeing it manifested as this big Elden Beast, this thing that defines the entire world of the Lands Between. Everything in the Lands Between has been decaying and has been out to get you. It's a hostile world. And so when you have to fight this Elden Beast, this thing that represents all of it, this amalgamation of everything, it's overwhelming. Its size is massive. And sure enough, I could barely get a scratch in, and it killed me. And so I realized I had to keep at it. I genuinely thought at first, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. This is probably one of the only fights in Elden Ring that I genuinely thought, there is no way I'm going to do this at first. The second time the Elden Beast popped up, it felt more like a consequence. Throughout this entire series, I've been talking about ADAB, all demigods are bastards. And you know, I've talked about in a previous video why I feel this way towards the demigods, because really, the reason I feel like all demigods are bastards is because I view them as a representation of real life figures, of people with more power than me who lord it over me. And I'm angry towards those people. But I also realise that's not a healthy mindset. But I also realised that Radigan was kind of like the ultimate demigod that I had to defeat. But I felt whilst I was doing it, like, this is a bit naughty, isn't it? This is my rebellious nature all coming out. It was a truly triumphant moment, wearing the twinned armor and the Hoslow helmet and just beating the shit out of Radigan. And then after that, the Elden Beast turned up, and it really felt like an honest consequence. It felt like the game was saying, this is how you feel about the demigods? This is how you feel about everything? You're fucking around with me? You're messing with me? Fine, okay.
Here's the Elden Beast.
This time, I was thinking, oh god, okay, this is it. This is what I get for fucking around. Okay, shit. Oh god, this is the genuine consequence for something that I have done, and I have to deal with this. And I realised I was scared, and I couldn't let go of that fear, and it killed me multiple times. Every time, I was quite fearful. I was thinking, there is no way I'm going to be able to beat this guy. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it. And then I went off stream, and turns out I just needed some time alone. So I beat Radigan, and then the Elden Beast turned up. I don't know what happened. I just remember thinking, okay, this is going to be it. We're going in. And I set the fear aside, and I just did it. And this was the triumphant moment. This was it. It felt like I had truly accomplished something. And people say that Melania is the hardest boss in the game, and I can see why that's true, but for me, I felt like the Elden Beast was the most difficult, just because of what it represented and how much I was struggling. I was there left with the crumbled, broken, tarnished Marika, and there was a summon sign for me to summon Rani, but if you've watched my videos, you know, I'm not going to be summoning Rani anytime soon. All I knew was that I wanted death to be part of the natural ecosystem again, and I wanted those undead people to not be hunted down forever, to not be cursed with people hating them. And so I put in the Mending Rune as the Prince of Death. I allowed for the Age of Duskborn, and I took my place as Elden Lord. This might not seem like it's going to make a massive difference. It doesn't seem like there's going to be any hugely significant change now, just that death is allowed. But for me, that's the perfect stepping stone into moving towards a brighter future. With me in charge, and I'm not saying that I want to be in charge, but it's the only real thing the game gives me. Maybe now I can forge a path forward that respects mortality, that respects the sanctity of life, and also understands that death is a natural part of that. Without death, we cannot change, we cannot grow. Without death, generations can't learn from past mistakes, and it's something that we have to accept. I've had comments before saying I hate that I have to watch people that I care about die around me. I hate death. And yeah, death, no one said death is nice. You know, if you get rid of death, if you don't allow for it, you're never going to be able to learn anything if you don't respect it, if you don't allow for it to happen. And I get it, I hate death. Having to see my dog die and my cat die, and, you know, having to experience people that I know die, it's not been nice, it's been horrible. But without those experiences, I wouldn't be who I am today. And who I am today, I mean, fuck man, I don't know if I am a good person, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing all the time, but what I do know is that I'm here, and I'm a person, and I'm trying my best. This entire time through Elden Ring, I've been going off the ethos that you have to fight through life. But life doesn't have to be one big fight. Life could just be, well, that. Life can just be. And you have to figure out what it is you want to do. There will be times when you have to fight, but that's not all life is. Life is about respect. Life is about experiences. Life is about remembering people you love. Life is about love. It's not just a big fight. Life is hard, but it's not just a big fight. It doesn't have to be a big fight. And I'm glad that I got to experience this journey, and that I got to talk about it with you guys. And so I sat on the throne, my Hoslow helmet on, my twinned armor on, and the Age of Duskborn was born. And I want to thank everyone for coming on this journey with me, for experiencing it with me. I can't quite believe that this is something that we've done. And if you've ever joined the stream of me playing it every now and then, thank you again, genuinely. What a ride, what an experience. I went through the stages of burnout, I went through all the emotions you possibly could, of wanting to stop playing it, of giving up. But at the end of the day, this series started because I was just struggling with life. And then it gave me a new pathway. I will forever be grateful for that, genuinely. And thank you for listening to me share my introspection and my introspective thoughts. I will do Shadow of the Erdtree at some point, not for a long while. I need a break. But thank you. I will forever be grateful for your participation in this. So now that I've finished this Elden Ring journey, I suppose I should let you know what the plan is for this channel now, what I'm going to be doing. I am fully aware that a lot of people in my audience right now are From Software nerds and From Software fans, and so I want to let you know that I'm going to be doing another From Software game after this, and that game will be, drumroll please, Sekiro. I've heard that it's kind of the black sheep of the franchise, but I think it would be good for me to get out of my whole magic thing and start parrying and start fighting. And also, I don't know anything about it. I know, you know, it's not like I know anything about a lot of the FromSoft games really, but this one I truly really know nothing about. I just know that it's in Japan and that you're, like, I think you're a samurai, I don't know. But I'm very curious about it, and I want to know what the story is going to teach me and what I can get from it. And I'm going to document my journey the same way I've been documenting this Elden Ring journey. But that's not all. I'm also going to be doing another series at the same time as that. It's going to be the Mass Effect trilogy. I absolutely love Mass Effect. That original trilogy is a trilogy that holds a very special place in my heart. The last time I played it was when they released the Legendary Edition. And that was like, God, I don't know how many years ago that was now. A lot of years ago. You know, I want to restart the game, and I want to replay it, and I want to talk about my journey through it. I want to talk about the characters. I want to talk about the story beats. I want to talk about why I made certain decisions in that world, why that world means a lot to me, why science fiction means a lot to me. And I can't wait to, you know, journal that as well. This is all basically just one big journal. And I'm also going to use that as a way to start streaming on Twitch. I'm going to start streaming more, but I can't do it on YouTube all the time because I don't want the algorithm to think that I'm a streamer. I'll stream Sekiro on here every now and then whenever I feel like it, but Mass Effect I'm going to be streaming on Twitch. I just want to let you know that. So the link to my Twitch will be in the description, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you there if you do. And I'll also stream some Hitman. We'll have some fun on Hitman on there as well. But yeah, this channel is only just beginning, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Another thing that I want to do is I want to talk about story pitches. I want to do some pitches for stories that I have. And one of them is this Spider-Man story that I've been planning in my head for years. Like, honestly, it's something that it's like a passion project that I've had in my head for years. I'd love to pitch that to you. And also I want to pitch my novel because I'm not getting very much luck with literary agents. So I thought maybe I could just pitch the novel to you that I've written. That was 2 years of my life that feels a bit wasted. Those things will be very far in the future, but that's what I want to do at some point. And also, there is no way I could have done this really without the members of the channel. We've got 12 members in total now, and I'm going to read them all out now. And I just want to say to all of you members, thank you so fucking much. I'm sorry that I can sometimes seem very monotone when I say thank you, but I think that just might be a touch of the tisms, okay? But when I say thank you, and when I say I can't believe it and how ridiculous it is that I've even got this, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And also thank you to everyone on the Discord as well. We've built an incredible community on the Discord, and it really means a lot that you're all there and that you're here for the journey. And I'm incredibly proud of the community that I've built. It's a very lovely community of people that are just genuinely nice, and yeah, it really means a lot to me that I've got that community. So here are the members: Derek Arthur, Pwefu, Split Prune, Travis Baker, Mr. Toadman, Namfam, The Worst Protagonist, Jack is a Mimic, Timothy German Games, Etchmill, Mr. Ben, Professor Scum, and Wade Cohen. Thank you all so much for being members. Means the absolute world. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope you stick around for more non-Elden Ring stuff. Again, as I said, I will return to Shadow of the Erdtree, just not yet. I need a break. But yeah, thank you so much. I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe we've done this. It's the end of an era, truly. Thank you.